leave now. Final, final, fight, final. Don't give up, don't get tired. Final, don't stop hustling. Don't quit. Fight on, and you will win. Don't stop hustling. Don't quit. Fight on, and you will win. Fight on. Everybody leave now. Fight against it. Come against every principality. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God. You can pull down a stronghold.
All right, what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining us on tonight. We pray that you had an amazing day, had an amazing week. We're excited to be back with you again on this week and with good connectivity. Even in the midst of this pandemic, we wanted to make sure that we literally got you prepared for what's next. We believe that if you believe that God is going to move in your next, then you have to act like it right now. If he's going to bless your next, you got to start right now. And so I believe he's going to give us an amazing information tonight. But the reality is that he can give the information, but you have to do something with it. So again, once again, we're preparing for the second half of this pandemic. We hear what the doctors saying right now. Our ICUs are at 90% capacity. Hospitals are full. To date, 11 hospitals were on diversion. That means 11 hospitals were not accepting patients in our area unless you showed up at their ER, all right? And so we want to make sure that we are getting ourselves ready, all right? So again, one more time tonight, we have Andre Christopher Morris with us. I'm excited to have you back, man. I know we can't touch, we social distance. Can we air bump at least? Okay, there it is. All right, we here together tonight. And I pray even with the internet connectivity, you were blessed by last week with everything that Chris shared with us. He's a certified trainer, and we're blessed to have him with us on tonight. Chris, I'm going to give it over to you, man, and let you take it over, man.
Okay. Thank you again for having me back, and I am grateful that to be given this platform. I have always stressed that my heart is for people to come out of bondage. My story is I once was addicted to food. I once was addicted to sweets. I was addicted to sugar, and never was an athlete in my lifetime until I actually began to do competitive bodybuilding, but that was later on in life, my late 30s. But I definitely understand the unhealthy relationship that I had with food. Food was a comfort. Food was a friend. Food was, you get into all of these really psychological entanglements that you get when you deal with food. Yes, a lot of y'all entangled with food, and this is
We gonna leave that alone.
yeah, it's the black table for right now. So, but nonetheless, and let me take a moment and just say thank you to everyone who is watching us right now. Currently, get your questions ready. Go ahead and start sending in your questions. Go ahead and start typing questions. For those people who are watching, I would love for you to type in where you're from, where you're repping from, and anything you hear, please make sure you hit that like button. You can hit that heart button, that care button. Use those emojis, so we can see what you're reacting to. But I had a very, very unhealthy relationship with food. As I said, when I was little, food was a reward for me. I was very smart as a child, and when I would bring home straight A's and great conduct, my mom would tell me, hey, you can have something. We're going to give you something for bringing home great grades. And I would ask literally for 2 Big Macs and 2 orders of fries. That was my reward. Food was my reward. Food was something that I just looked forward to. Back in those days when they had the Big Macs where you flip the top open, the real ones, not these little watered down Big Macs that they throwing together right now. But when a Big Mac was a Big Mac. And I would put the fries on the other side. See, some of y'all act like y'all ain't never done that, but I know I'm not alone. But I would consider food as a reward. And before you know it, I started with the sweets and the Mr. Pure papaya drinks and I know I'm stepping on toes. You can just say ouch if I catch it. Honey buns, Krispy Kreme hot signs, ice cream, pralines and cream, Baskin Robbins, all of that. I was definitely addicted to sugar. So much so that every night I felt like I had convinced myself and I had adapted to the fact that I would allow myself to have sweets every night. And at some point it became an addiction to where I couldn't sleep until I had that sweet tooth taken care of. And that is where a lot of you all are right now. I look at you as addicts, and that is the only way that you can be cured from addiction. You have to first realize and come to grips that you are addicted to something. And once you at least identify the fact that you are addicted, and then from there, you have to have the will and the mindset and the desire and the determination to come off of that substance. And then that's where the hard work comes in, where we really, really have to. A lot of people don't think you have to go cold turkey, but when you go to rehab for hardcore drugs, they definitely cold turkey you. They may give you some type of medication that will, in your mind, a placebo or whatever be the case, that will take the place of that substance that you're addicted to. But nonetheless, they will give you cold turkey. If you go in there and you're addicted to crack rocks, they're not telling you, hey, I know you used to smoking 10 crack rocks a day. We're going to wean you off of these crack rocks. We're going to give you 7 this week, and then we'll give you 7 for the next 3 weeks, and then after that, we'll kind of taper you down to 5 rocks a week. No, they don't do that. They strip you clean from the drug. And then what happens is they anticipate you going through withdrawal symptoms. And you all may not know it, but sugar, this is something that you can Google. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than crack cocaine. You can Google that. It is a fact. Scientists have actually documented that. Sugar, what is sitting on restaurant tables free of charge in the little black box, that sits where the menus are, free of charge, pure sugar, right there, no charge. You can put in your purse, put in your pocket, they'll keep filling it, because they know that sugar is one of the, if not the leading causes to a lot of our health issues. It is that consumption of carbs that converts to sugar. These are things that I had to learn. I had to educate myself on what was making my body go the wrong way. Once I realized what was making my body go the wrong way, obviously I know I need to do the exact opposite. And a lot of you thinking that, hey, if I can just give it up for a minute, for a little while, and then, oh, I can have this, on the weekends, or I can just have a little. No, when you give an addict just a little, that's all they need. It sends signals to the brain, and it urges and just really, really pushes you to where you really, really, really want more. And so that is where you are. I'm here to tell you, I've been enslaved, and I have come out of bondage. Now I'm coming back for you to let you know that you can come out of bondage as well. We can go to the promised land together. I've been there. I've seen it. And I've come back just for you to tell you, you can beat this addiction with food. You can beat this addiction to sugar. You can beat this addiction to carbs. You can beat this addiction to salty, crunchy foods. You can do it. It takes discipline. Everybody has discipline. A lot of people think you don't have that. Oh man, Chris, Dre, I really wish I was as disciplined as you, but I just don't have it. I tell people this all the time. Discipline is like a gift, a Christmas gift. If I gave Pastor Dave a nice package, box, Christmas gift with a bow on it, and said, hey man, and I caught him at his car. Let's just say he was getting ready to pull off, and I said, hey man, I got a gift for you. I want to give this to you. And he took it and put it on his back seat. And got home, went about his way, totally kind of forgot about the gift. And one day he realized, he looked in the back and he said, oh, there's a gift in my back seat. And he realized it was a gift that I'd given him. Now, here's the thing. Did he have the gift in his possession? Yes. Was he using the gift? No. Everybody has the gift of discipline. Everybody has discipline. The question is, are you using that discipline? Are you growing that muscle called discipline? You really, really have to do that. And I'm just telling you that you can do it. It starts with the changing of the mind. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I know you've heard that, but that's the truth. When you really, really get tired of being overweight, can't breathe, it brings about low self-esteem. There's so many things that come with that. Then I just decided I wanted really, really, really wanted to change. And y'all type Pastor Dave, be still. That's what you're hearing. He moving around. But that's what happened. I don't know your story. And some of you are still writing your story. And you've had setbacks. You've been discouraged. You've pretty much said, I've tried everything. And a lot of people really, really want to do the work. You don't mind doing the work. A lot of people really don't mind doing the work. But here's where the discouragement comes. A lot of people will Google and Google and Google because they're trying to find something that works quick. A lot of people just want quick results. I want to lose 40 pounds in a month. I want to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. You know, this, that, and the other. The faster you lose it, the faster you will gain it back. The slower you lose it, the slower it will more than likely be that you will gain it back. And so a lot of times a lot of people will just go 100% into some new idea that they've heard. Oh, do this and you'll lose. I lost 50 pounds in a month. You can do it too. And they will literally give it their all to doing it. But when it doesn't work and when you've given your all to something and it still doesn't work, yeah, we've all been there. That's discouragement. But that is why I am here. That is my mission. That is my purpose. My purpose is to tell people the truth, what really, really works. Might not be comfortable, might not be your favorite, but this is facts. This is science. This is a formula. 2 + 2 will always equal 4. I don't care how many times you write it. It is a fact that it will always equal 4. When you are in a healthy calorie deficit, and it's not too large of a deficit, at some point you will begin to lean out. And if you stay on that route consistently, in the long term, you will have results and you can maintain them. I want to go to some questions. Do we have any questions coming up? You just let me know when we have questions. I had somebody to reach out to me today, and a question was asked to me that I addressed last week, but I will address it again this week concerning how many calories does a person have to burn to lose 1 pound of weight? But we're talking about fat loss, and I'm going to get to that as well. 1 pound of body weight is 3,500 calories. Now, what that means is you will have to have burned via cardio, via resistance training, in excess of 3,500 calories more than you ate that week. So for instance, if you ate 20,000 calories for an entire week, if you ate 20,000 calories, you will have to have burned 23,500 calories in order to lose a pound, okay? This is where we are. See the math, okay? 3,500 calories is 1 pound. When you lose a pound, if it's not water, now we're talking about different elements, and I'm going to get to that now because there are different ways that the scale can go down. And this is going to be a really, really big nugget so people can understand what the scale does, why the scale goes up and down, what we call yo-yo. And that is going to be bless you, because I know a lot of people who deal with that. But 1 pound is 3,500 calories. With that being said, you have to burn in excess of how many calories you've eaten for the week. If you eat 10,000 calories, you need to have burned a total of 13,500 calories in order to have lost one or burned 1 pound of body fat, hopefully. All right? Let's talk about how the scale goes down. What makes the scale goes down? And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to type your questions in on the screen, and they will be given to me, and I will answer them immediately. But here's the deal. This is what I want you all to understand, the scale. The scale that you step on will tell you how much the entire thing on it weighs, okay? So if I get on the scale and it reads 200 pounds, it's telling me everything, skin, hair, organs, blood, the whole nines, muscle, fat, water, all of that, whatever just stepped on it was 200 pounds. Now, if you lose 5 pounds of muscle, if your body, and the body can burn muscle for fuel, which is unhealthy weight loss, you do not want to burn muscle unless you're doing it intentionally. Some people do it intentionally for bodybuilding sakes, and they have to make weigh-ins and things of that nature. But the average person does not and should not burn muscle. If you burn 5 pounds of muscle, the scale will go down 5 pounds. Was that healthy weight loss? No. Okay? Now, you can actually eliminate from your body 5 pounds of water via urine, via sweat. You really don't realize it, but a gallon of water weighs 9 pounds. So I drink in excess of a gallon of water a day. I am ingesting 9 pounds of water. So my body at some point is 9 pounds heavier than I woke up that morning. But when I wake up the next morning and I'm still the same weight that I weighed in the previous morning, that means I have eliminated 9 pounds from my body. And we don't even realize that we can urinate and we can sweat that much off. But that is why the scale doesn't go anywhere. If I drank 9 pounds in and release 9 pounds, the scale doesn't go anywhere. If I drank 9 pounds and only released 4 pounds, the scale will go up 5 pounds. Now, half of you get on the scale and the scale go up 5 pounds, you freaking out. You calling your trainer, you texting your trainer, you're texting your friends, you don't want to hear it, you're like, something is wrong, I'm eating clean, this is not right. A lot of times it's water, because you really, really don't, fat doesn't just sit on your body that fast, all right? Especially when you eat very fresh fat from some type of meal that you ate. Let's just say you ate a piece of cake at lunch. It's easier to eliminate that fat because it has not hardened. It's still soft, and so you can easily make it a liquid, and you can let it release it from your system through water retention, urination, sweat. All right. It's the eating, it's the years of eating. Years of eating is where you get your very large stomachs, your hard stomachs, your areas. You didn't gain that weight in 3 months. I'm talking about at your biggest state. A lot of people hit me. I get people who come to me, women and men, who will say, well, I'm 250 pounds, and this is the largest I've been, and, their ideal weight is 175 pounds. They didn't go from 175 to 250 pounds in 2 months. It was a process. And so they just kept on compounding fat on top of fat on top of fat. So the old fat is getting hard. The new fat is still loose, and you can burn it off easily. That's why when you lose weight, when you begin a regimen, it's very easy to drop 10, 15 pounds. But once you get to that place and you get to what we call stubborn belly fat, that is when you have to do the work. Because that's when you want the body to be hot all the time. Again, a lot of people say, Chris, why you wear hoodies all the time? There is a professional bodybuilder named Kai Green. Kai Green, Green. I think there's an E on his last name, but it might not. But he's a professional bodybuilder. And he does all of his cardio with hoodies on. And he walks around in the summertime with hoodies on because he's used to a warm environment because he doesn't hold water. The hotter I am, the more I'll sweat. The more I sweat, I will release water. So I won't be holding water. And that won't be one of my problems. I'm trying to get to the fat. This is my big thing that I want you guys to understand. There's a difference between fat loss and weight loss. Let me clarify. Fat and weight. You have muscle, water, fat. Okay? You don't want to lose muscle, but the scale will go down if you lose muscle. You lose 5 pounds of muscle, the scale will go down. That's unhealthy weight loss. Water, you lose 5 pounds of water, the scale will go down. That's good, especially if in the essence of that you're not dehydrated and you're healthy, you're being very, very healthy, and it's healthy to release this water because you're drinking plenty of water. Now, if you're letting off a lot of water and you're not drinking enough water, then you're headed to dehydration, and that can lead to the hospital, and you don't want that. Then you have fat loss, all right? Fat loss is what everybody wants. That's what we all want in common. How do I not touch the muscle? How do I just strictly focus on fat? And I had a client of mine that said that somebody asked him, Corey Cleese, shout out to Corey if he's watching. Somebody asked him a question and said, how is it that you do cardio and you lose weight and you're still eating? Well, he said it like this, and I said, Corey, you were very right. He said, if my diet is clean, although I'm not eating fats. I'm not eating unhealthy fats. So my body only has to now burn the clean food. It doesn't have to burn any fat. So when I want to burn, it needs to burn fat for energy. It goes to where it is on my body versus the food that I'm eating and I'm bringing in. Because your body can't burn the fat that's on your body if you're constantly eating fats. It's going to burn the freshest, what's available in your digestive system first. If you get that out the way, then the body will use, especially when you're in a fasted state and the body doesn't have any food in it. That's why a lot of people do fasted cardio. Fasted cardio is good. Still get with your doctor. People who are diabetic, I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I would get with your physician first. Get with your primary care physician and find out if you can do cardio on a fasted state without anything in your stomach, because some people's blood sugar will drop too low. You don't want that. But when you don't have those issues and you do fasted cardio, the body is looking for energy to get through the cardio session. And if you don't have any food in your system from being asleep all night and you wake up, what is the first meal of the day called? Breakfast. Break fast. That's the meal that you eat after breaking your fast from fasting all night. You haven't eaten in 5, 6, 7, 8 hours or more. That's why it's called break fast, breakfast. All right, so fasted cardio is doing cardio on an empty stomach, all right? And these are the things. Again, if you have any questions, please rip them off, and I'm going to address them as soon as possible. But this is why you have to understand, and I'm trying to educate you all as it relates to healthy weight loss to unhealthy weight loss, all right? Eating too low of calories is unhealthy. I can't say that enough. You cannot starve yourself and think that it is going to be healthy weight loss, because I promise you, when Thanksgiving comes, you're going to gain 15 pounds over the whole weekend. I'm telling you. And then if you haven't addressed the addiction, then it's just going to trigger your addictions all over again. Before you know it, you will have eaten crazy all week and wondering, man, then you'll be like, well, I'll clean up, the week after Thanksgiving, and then before you know it, say, oh, well, I'll clean up after Christmas, and then before you know it, you say, I'll clean up in the new year. Before you know it, you gain 30, 40 pounds. Happens all the time, all right? But it takes discipline. You got to know that, I was there. I used to live to eat. I lived to go to CKs. I lived to go to the fast food places. And that was I'm a musician. That's what we do. We hang out. We sleep all day. We stay up all night. Right. We eat crazy. We go in the Waffle House, this, that, and the other. Applebee's when it was popping, things of that nature. That's what we do. And I understand, but I'm telling you, you have to understand that you've got to make the change. You got to make the turn. You got to make the turn. Make the turn. Dave, you got any questions? Any input?
I think we had one, and that was somebody asked if you would review what it was that we did last week as it pertains to, what was it? As it pertains to how much water should you be drinking? I guess you got on water, and then they start to asking how much water should we be drinking?
Okay. Water. Let's start there. For the average person that doesn't drink water at all, and you'll be surprised of how many people don't drink a lot of water. I've come in contact with people who tell me all the time, I don't drink water at all. I drink sodas all day, every day. And for that person, it will be difficult for them to go from no water to a gallon. So healthily, I would say that drinking half of your body weight. So if a person was 200 pounds, you would start at 100 ounces. Half of your body weight in ounces of water is really, really a great start. And 100 ounces is very close to a gallon, which is 128 ounces. So you're really right there at the door. But water is a huge secret when it comes to fat loss. Now, if I don't say anything else to you, I just gave you a major nugget, and for some of you all, it went over your head.
Help us, Reverend, help us.
I'm going to say it one more time. Water is a huge secret to fat loss. Notice I'm saying fat loss, okay?
That's good.
Water. Why is water a huge secret? Water, when you're trying to eliminate pre-existing body fat, and I've said this several times, several people who are watching, and I see you, I may have some other questions pop up on my live, but nonetheless, in order to get fat out of the body, because fat doesn't just disappear. A lot of people don't know when your stomach begins to go down, and you can have a little before and after pic where you have one pic and the stomach is way out here, and then the next pic, the stomach is here. What happened to the body fat? How did it come out of the body? All right? Fat comes out of the body one of three ways, if not more. All right? These are the three ways that fat comes out of the body. Okay. Sweat.
All right.
Urine, bowels.
Come on, somebody type that in the comments.
Sweat, urine, bowels, your bowel movements, all right? Now, what does water have to do with all three of them? Now, we already know two of them off the top. We can, the sweat and the urine, we know that's water. But a lot of people don't realize that if you are dehydrated, you are more likely to be constipated because the bowels have hardened. So when you have hard bowels and they don't have that water making them soft and pliable so they can just pass through you easily, you become constipated. And if you're constipated, then you can't release the waste. And I know a lot of people who are watching me, some people only use the restroom. Let me say again, clarify. Their bowels only move sometimes once a week. Some people's bowels move once every 4 days. Some people's bowels move once every 5 days, and they're always taking laxatives and things of that nature, which really speaks to two things, two areas that I would really focus on if that's somebody that is watching right now. I would focus on your water consumption and your vegetables. And you really want to have starchy, like your oatmeal, your baked sweet potato. Those are fibrous. Those are carbs that have fiber in them, all right? Even though they are complex carbs, and we need to get your digestive system working. But again, your digestive system can't work without water. So, think about this. If I just told you fat needs this to come out of the body, and if you really wanted it bad enough, it seems like I shouldn't have to beg you to drink water because I've just given you the secret. I've just told you the more water you drink, the more likely you're going to lose more fat. And a lot of people come to me and say, you know what, it's so hard for me to get it. I'm just telling you, can do anything you put your mind to. Yeah. You got to get that water in. You have 24 hours. Stop thinking as a day as from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. That's not a day. A day is 24 hours. So if I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, a full day is up until 7 o'clock the next morning. I have 24 hours to drink a gallon, not the 16 hours that I'm awake.
That's good.
So I'm totally giving up 8 hours that I could be ingesting water. Even if it's when I wake up to use the restroom in the night, I can drink some water before I go to bed, go back and get into bed and go to sleep. I may wake up again to urinate, but I will do the same thing. I will drink some more. Every time that I would urinate, I would actually drink more. And I shared that last week. That is what I personally do. Anytime I use the restroom, I make sure that I drink water and I put back what just was eliminated. That is a huge area, So half of their body weight, I would say a gallon of water is excellent. Some people need more. And they don't realize that you can't even see drinking a gallon. So you can't understand when I tell you that I have friends who drink 2 gallons of water a day. I have friends who drink 3 gallons of water a day. That's a lot. But
wow.
Lean as all yesterday, but their body requires it. And they got to a point where they're used to that.
All right. While you're on that subject, somebody just put here, and we do have another question that we're going to get to, but they ask complex carbs, question mark. So I guess maybe what are good carbs, what are bad carbs? Maybe that'll help us out some.
Okay, good. Simple carbs, complex carbs, opposites. Something simple, something complex. So that's where you get those terms, complex carbs and simple carbs. Complex carbs are actually slow digesting carbs, all right? Simple carbs are fast digesting carbs. You want to stay away 9 times out of 10 from fast, which are simple carbs, because they digest quickly, and if you're not using them, they will convert to fat. All right? They will convert to sugar, forgive me. Carbs convert to sugar, and sugar will convert to body fat. And that is what you want to stay away from. Now, if eating simple digesting carbs or fast digesting carbs, which they are one and the same, then when you eat the complex carbs such as oatmeal, such as whole wheat pasta, such as sweet potatoes, all right, yams, a sweet potato, not the candy yams. I'm talking about a sweet potato, a baked sweet potato with something like cinnamon on it, and not a whole bunch of, no butter and no sugar and all of that. Those are complex carbs, and they digest slowly. So they're slower to convert to sugar, which actually gives you, especially people who are diabetic, if you're going to eat carbs, you really want something that is not going to, simple carbs spikes your insulin. It spikes it just like that because it hits it so fast. When somebody is sugar dropped in church, I used to see this, and they would give somebody a peppermint because that's just pure sugar. And they need some sugar to hurry up and hit it and bring that low blood sugar up, all right? Whereas complex carbs, it takes the body a minute to actually convert it into sugar, so you have a more steady blood sugar or glucose level. So that is a great question. That's what complex carbs and simple carbs are. Your white carbs are mostly all simple carbs. You really want to stay away from those, especially if you're trying to lean out.
All right. We had another question here. I want to get it right here. And somebody says a question on IG. We'll get it now. The first one is, can you speak to the psychology of eating, stress eating?
If you're just logging on, thank you for logging on. I addressed the psychology of food at the very beginning of the video, so I would advise you to go back and play the video in its entirety from the beginning, and I addressed that. Food can be, it is an addiction. So when you're talking about being addicted to sugars, being addicted to food, that is definitely a psychological, it's a mental disorder. And so as the mind goes, the body goes. You know, this is just a fact. You know, if you know, I shared this with my band at my church here at the Way, that certain foods are triggers. You got to know what your triggers are. Identify your triggers, stay away from your triggers. All right? Because if Krispy Kreme is a trigger, it's no way that I'm going to allow somebody to convince me, hey, we got donuts in the break room, go get it one. I'm not going to fall for that trigger. I already know that is something that's going to take me down where I'm going to want more than one donut, especially if I don't have that control. So when you talk about the psychology of stress, because when people are stressed out, my advice for people who are stressed out, when you feel stressed like that, go work out. Go do some cardio. Do something fitness related, and you will actually feel better because you will realize that more than likely I would have done the wrong thing, and then the body will begin to secrete endorphins that will actually make you feel better, and that is something that you can do. Plus, get away from people who don't have your same goals. If you're trying to eat healthy and all of your friends want to do is go out and drink and kick it and this, that, and other, eat fried foods and go to every Mexican restaurant and want to go to every Italian restaurant and want to go to every food stand with, because it's black owned and they serving nothing but sweets and sugars and fried foods, you got to get away from those people because you're trying to beat an addiction. This is not just I like to eat, which is what you said. There is a psychology to this, that there is a serious mental disorder that has actually manifested in the physical. And so you got to get a control of that. Certain things are just triggers. You got to stay away from those triggers.
Yeah, and I will add to that because from a medicine standpoint, there's an area in your brain called the hypothalamus. And what happens is when you're stressed and when you're get these emotions, that's also part in the amygdala's part of the brain too that responds to insulin. So there is a correlation there. So now I'm stressed, so I respond to my stress, like you said on cardio, get this emotional state, and then when I get that surge, I go and I satiate myself or I make myself feel better by food. It's like a comfort. And so recognizing, okay, maybe I'm a little bit more stressed. I mean, you think about it, everybody's been in the house, and I get it. We can't move, we can't go. But all of our eating has not been because of just we can't get out. Some of it's because we've been stressed because of a pandemic. We've been stressed because of racial protesting, election year, et cetera. And so now we're eating for comfort versus taking that same stress, like you said, and maybe working out or reading a book or doing something that's a little bit more constructive. Somebody asked too, if you're thinking about carbs, is there a certain time of day that's better to eat carbs? So the question was, should you eat them in the morning? That was an Instagram question. Should we eat them in the morning?
Okay, excellent question. I definitely would advise, and let me say this, total disclaimer. I am a certified fitness nutrition specialist. I do have certifications with NFPT. I am not a medical physician, all right? Anytime you're going to change anything concerning your diet, you're going to start any type of supplementation, you're going to do anything, any type of change of diet, even with your water, go to your physician first, your primary care physician. Share with them what you are attempting to do, what you're going to do, and ask them, is this something that they feel is going to help you? So that you can, one, know for yourself that your doctor is agreeing with you and that it should give you that green light to let you know that this is a healthy route, all right? I would suggest when it comes to carbs, here's what you want to stay away from. You don't want to eat carbs when you're not going to, again, carbs are energy, okay? Carbs are literally energy. Carbs and fats are used for energy, all right? Those are energy macronutrients. So when do I need more energy? From the time I wake up. Only time I'm not needing energy is when I'm getting ready to retire, if I'm going to lay down. So why would I consume carbs and I know this is the end of the day, I'm getting ready to go to sleep, like I used to do, the 2 honey buns and the ice cream every night before I went to sleep. It was right before I went to bed. And so as soon as I ate it, I would sit up, watch a little TV, and I would just fall asleep. And that food would sit on me because it would be energy that I wouldn't be used. And so if it's not going to be used, then it's going to say, hey, let's store it for when we need it later. But if you never, ever use it, and it keeps on storing fat, before you know it, that's where you get these body fat percentages where you're 25% body fat and higher, all right? But I would take carbs when I need them energy, especially getting ready to go to the gym. You should have some carbs in you. I would say at least eat about an hour at minimum, an hour before you go to work out, because you need to allow the food to digest. If you don't allow the food to digest, when you go to work out, whatever muscle that you're trying to tone up or to build, the body is taking blood and trying to digest the food. So the body will be using blood in 2 different places, versus if I want my chest to grow, then I need all of the blood to be sent to my chest. So that's why I need to make sure my food has digested before I train. And that is something that most men and women need to know. When you're getting ready to go to the gym to do lifting, you want to at least eat an hour before the gym. Give your food time to go down and to start the digestive process, so that when you train, the blood will be able to go to whatever particular body part that you're training.
Somebody asked if we would readdress this from last week. There was a question, and I know we were a little spotty on our internet. In terms of, we got into a question about spices, salt versus peppers, or Himalayan salt, pink salt. What should we flavor our food with? And then it was also, what's the healthiest cooking oil, if you will?
Gotcha. When it comes to the herbs and spices, you can use any herb, any spice that you want, all right? What the things that you really, really want to be mindful of, you don't want to have you don't want to have too much sodium, especially if you're not drinking enough water. That's another byproduct of the water. The water will flush the sodium out of your system. So that's why people who are healthy, they can use sodium. And normally we use pink Himalayan sea salt. Pink Himalayan sea salt.
Can you spell it for us? It's spelling bee. No, I'm joking.
Himalayan, right. Kind of like player from the Himalaya, that Himalaya. Pink Himalayan sea salt, all right? That's what you want to use if you're going to use sodium. You don't want to use table salt, all right? And you drinking enough water, you will flush the sodium out of your body, all right? That's the importance of water. Now, as it relates to cooking, you want to use pure, I would suggest organic virgin olive oil. Organic is the healthiest that we can purchase, to be honest, when it's truly organic. I would try to use virgin olive oil. Use your air fryers. A lot of people are beginning to use those. There's another thing that's on the market. It's like an air fryer, and it's like a crock pot. It is, I see it, and a lot of you have it. But again, air fryer, anything along that lines, do that, because you want to get away from cooking in oils and grease. All right, you don't want to fry your foods, because when you fry foods, that oil, those fats, they begin to seep into the meat or whatever it is that you're frying. If you're frying even French fries, if you use grease like you used to do back in the day, then what you're doing is you're taking grease that has soaked into the potato, and you're eating that. And fats have over twice as many calories as carbs and proteins. Fats have 9 calories, whereas carbs and proteins have only 4 carbs per gram. All right? 4 calories per gram. All right? Fat has 9 calories per gram. So if you eat 20 grams of fat, you have ingested 180 calories. Right. 20 times 9 is 180. Whereas if you eat 20 grams of carbs, you've only eaten 80 calories. Now you see how that adds up? Then when we start talking about that 3,500, now I just had 20 grams of one thing, 20 grams of the other, and I ate over double on one. So that's where a lot of people miss it, where they don't realize when you're eating high fats, and a lot of people, they put a lot of avocado on their salads, but not realizing that avocado, although it's a healthy fat, it's still a fat nonetheless. So if you have too much avocado on your plate and you're eating it all, you could be eating well over 200, 300, 400 calories just in avocados, even though it's healthy. So you gotta understand, too much of good calories still can be bad for you.
Wow.
Too little of good calories can be bad for you. Too little of bad calories are bad for you, because you're in starvation mode, and plus you're ingesting, unhealthy foods.
Can you say that one more time? You play for me every Sunday. I brought my organ, and we should not be doing what kind of foods?
Are you finna? We don't need to eat unhealthy foods. Right, he got a little, see. Right, that's the preacher in him. Wow. All right, Scotty, you fine. Scotty, he ain't doing you right. It's not
all right.
Okay, please, you are killing me. But listen, again, I understand where you are. I've been where you are. A lot of people understand that, and this is a serious, serious moment. A lot of people understand that if you've ever been addicted to something, and I had a brother-in-law that was sober. He's still sober, and he was getting to the years of sober, like in the close to the 20-year range, and he was still going to his AA meetings. And a lot of people don't understand, why do people who have been clean for so long, why do they still attend meetings? Well, that person will tell you that once an addict, always an addict. And what they mean by that is, just like we're sinners, we're just saved by grace. We're still sinners, but we're saved by grace. All right? You're still addicted to those foods. You just know they're triggers and you avoid them. But if you fall on that trigger and you do something foolish, you will be right back to square one, just like that. So a lot of people still go so they can make sure that they keep themselves in check, that they keep themselves grounded. Because again, a lot of you are just addicts, and I feel for you. I really, really do feel for you. I see the pain in your eyes. I see the fact that a lot of you really want to get in shape, but man, some things are just so hard for you to let go. But until you let those things go, until you get to a point to where you're really, really tired, you really, really desire change, and you're really willing to just do whatever it takes, morally and ethically, sound, to get the weight off, to get the fat off. Notice we're making the distinction. Then that's when it'll happen. All right, and you can't think it's gonna happen overnight. You gotta go. This is a lifestyle change. I live like this. All I've eaten today is grilled chicken. I've had my rice. I've eaten that I know I've eaten grilled chicken and rice twice. Same meal, twice. The same exact meal. And I'm gonna probably eat it again tonight. The same exact meal. So while you're tripping on eating the same foods every day, I eat the same foods in the same meals within the day. So can you imagine if I'm eating, I have a friend who's competing right now. He's eating tilapia and rice and some type of green vegetables. He eats that 5 times a day. He eats that same meal 5 times a day. 5 times, the same meal 5 times a day. Imagine eating that same meal 35 times in a week. Imagine doing the math. That's 140 times in a month that he's eating that same meal.
Wow. Crazy.
But people want to know, why does he look the way he looks? Because he's turned that switch to where food is just a tool. And I know that the nutrients that I need in order to get on stage and show ripped abs, no hanging triceps, body weight looking good, he knows that these are the meals that he needs to eat. So he turned the switch off and saying, I'm not eating for taste, I'm eating for function. I'm not eating for taste, I eat for function.
Wow.
There are some foods that I eat cold, straight out the refrigerator on purpose. They've already been cooked, so they are totally cooked foods. And I eat them cold out the refrigerator on purpose. Why? Because that helps me mentally. When something is cold, I don't expect it to taste good. So I'm not looking for that taste in my mouth, that it's got to be amazing. I get it, and before I know it, I start chewing it, and especially if I put it on the grill and I taste the grill, and before you know it, it's over with. I just need to get the food in the body. Once it's in the body, it's out of my hands. Then my body can say, thank you for giving me the 40 grams of protein. Thank you for giving me the 60 grams of carbs. Thank you for giving me the 10 grams of fat. Thank you for giving me the water. Now let me do my part. And that is when you are in sync, all right? That's what happens, but for sure.
All right, another question that we had was that somebody said, so I've been changing my diet, but I'm tired all the time now. So I feel like I have to eat more to feel better. Could you address that? So I was cutting, but then I just got super tired.
Super tired. All right. So again, food is literally energy. That the definition of food is energy. All right. So when you don't eat enough food, that's just like fasting. You know, like people who fasted in the Bible. When you fast, you're very, very weak physically. You're strong spiritually if you do it right. But there is an imbalance that there is an inverse reaction that happens. The physical begins to get weak. The spiritual begins to get strong. But the physical is yet weak because you are on low carbs. Because again, when you're cutting, such as this person, when you're trying to lean out, you have to be in a calorie deficit. All right? There are two states that you could be in, a calorie deficit, or three. A calorie deficit where you're eating less than you need, than you actually burn a day. So if a person, RMR, your resting metabolic rate, if it's 2,000 calories, if my body burns 2,000 calories every day, then I'm going to eat less than 2,000 calories. So that my body still is going to burn the 2,000 calories, but if I'm only eating 1,000, then it's got to burn 1,000 other calories. It's going to burn 1,000 other calories from somewhere else, which is usually here on the body. Now, if you go too deep into a deficit, and a lot of people are, then the body will make a switch and say he or she is in starvation mode because they must be in a predicament. The body doesn't know that you're doing this on purpose. But normally the body will make assessment and say, we don't have enough of what we need to fulfill the requirements. So don't burn what we have because we know Sarah's pattern. Sarah is only, and I'm just throwing the name out there, Sarah is only eating 2 meals a day. That's not enough food for us to function. And so what we have to do is don't burn the calories, turn the metabolism all the way down, so that we can slowly bite off of this little that we get because we can't survive off of it. So you can eat too little, you can eat too much, things of that nature. Yeah.
Okay, so Facebook would like for you to address keto.
Keto. And this is my last question because, I'm going to take 3 more questions. I'm going to hard cut off at 8:10 because we started the talk at 10. Keto. For those of you who don't know what keto is a diet, or what people consider a diet, where you only eat proteins and fats. You don't eat any simple or complex carbs. You can eat fibrous carbs, which are green vegetables, but that's technically what the body does. You're going to eat protein, and you're going to get fibrous carbs, and you're going to have fats. So again, when the body needs energy, it either goes to store body fat, or you can use fats, because I educated you maybe 25 minutes ago that carbs and fats are energy, all right? Protein is for building, all right? Carbs and fats are for energy to get through your day. Protein is for building muscle. Your fingernails, your eyelids, your eyelashes, your hair, everything on your body grows from protein, which breaks down even smaller into branch chain amino acids. So that's where that comes from. But again, if you're not eating carbs, simple carbs, which are your white carbs, a lot of people know that, and your complex carbs, and you're only eating green leafy vegetables, and you're having fats. Now, here's my warning for you people who are doing keto. When you're doing keto, you can use fats from any source. So remember, there are healthy fats and then there are unhealthy fats. So there are people that take it and then they run with it, and I know some people who do keto and they put butter in their coffee. That's keto because it's fats and water. So you can consume the fats, you can consume the protein. You have a window of a certain number of calories that I guess that you're trying to burn, and you're tracking those calories. But yes, you have fats and proteins. So, but if you're eating on a keto diet, one thing that you have to pay attention with the keto diet is that cholesterol. So I personally don't prescribe to the keto diet. I think the keto diet is something that you can do in cycles. I think keto is something that you need to do, such as, do it for 2 weeks and then go back into something like a Mediterranean diet. I love the Mediterranean diet. I would suggest you all to Google that. Next week, we can go deeper into what is a Mediterranean diet. We can go deeper into the keto diet. What are, some of the perks between that? There are some other diets that I've been apprised to. A new one, I can't even call the name of it, but there are several of them. Some of them are good, and a lot of them really, really have their major withdrawals and setbacks and things that you really don't want. Again, keto, you really got to be very, very cautious with the fats because, again, you got to be concerned about the cholesterol number. And before you know it, you will have cholesterol issues. You'll lose weight. You can lose 60 pounds and still have bad cholesterol, and they'll put you on that medication. And if you have bad cholesterol, then that means that you could have, potentially clogged arteries, and we're talking about heart attacks and strokes and things of that nature. So I just don't prescribe to keto. That's what I have for that. Good question. Very good question.
Have another question. You have one?
No.
Okay. Another question here. Somebody wanted to know, we touched processed foods a little bit last week. So should you not do anything from the frozen section is the question, or how do you know, or is there certain ones you can do, certain ones you shouldn't do when you're just kind of busy but still want to eat healthy and you're on the go?
I'm going to tell you, you really want to stay away from all processed foods. Now, just because it's in the frozen section doesn't mean it's processed. They have certain breads, like Ezekiel bread. They have certain items. There are some items that have to just be refrigerated, and it's in that section. So don't just write off everything in that. But when you're talking about processed foods and all of the chemicals that they put in it to preserve the foods for such a certain amount of time, you really, really want, I would just say this. If I had to invest in something, why would I not want to invest in my health? A wise investor invests where they feel they are guaranteed. They feel they're guaranteed, or a high probability that they will get a return on their investment. If there's anything that I'm willing to invest, is my health. And I want to see the return on the investment of no medications, great body fat. I want my clothes to fit me. I want to, get my labs to be amazing. My creatinine, my kidneys, my, everything, liver function, toxicity. I want all of that to be right. So, that is where that is. And I need you guys to understand, invest in your health. You'll be surprised at organic chicken breast could be $4 a pound. Still think about it like this. $4 a pound, all right? Check this out. Let's just say you get a pound of chicken for $4. Let's say you get a pound of chicken, I'm gonna even go higher than that. Pound of chicken for $6, all right? That means there are 16 ounces in a pound, here's where math is involved. There's 16 ounces in a pound. All right. You just got a pound of chicken for $6. Now, if I divided that 16 ounces into four parts, that's where you get quarter pound. Where does that sound familiar? Quarter pounder. You hear that all the time in hamburgers. Quarter pounder means 4 ounces. It's supposed to be 4 ounces. I'm gonna touch on that too about these restaurants that supposedly you getting 8 ounces of steak and you're really only getting 5 at the table, but I'll get with that. We'll get that later, all right? Somebody remind me of that, please. All right, but quarter pounder is supposed to be 4 ounces because 4 quarters equals a whole, all right? So 1 whole pound, 4 ounces. 4 ounces, 4 ounces, 4 ounces is a pound. So if I spend $6 for this, a quarter pounder should only cost me $1.25. Now, how much is a quarter pound at McDonald's? I bet you it's not 25 cents, $1.25. How much is a double quarter pounder? I know it's not $2.50. So if you're at home cooking your own double quarter pounders, would you rather spend $2.50 or would you rather spend $5? See, right, healthy, and we're talking about organic chicken on top of that. So it's not processed. All of these chemicals is being grass fed. And free range, this is what you want. You want healthy foods. A lot of people think it costs too much to eat healthy. No, you're blowing food on your fast food and your candy and your junk. You don't even realize how much money you're blowing on that, but that's another point.
And it's cheaper than dialysis.
Oh, say that.
It's cheaper than a heart cath.
Say that.
It's cheaper than having a stroke, and then you end up having to have rehab. It's cheaper than all of that. And so the idea is I'd rather spend it on good food that's going to sustain my life, make me feel great, than to end up at some point because all the sodium, cholesterol, like you said earlier, with a stroke, a heart attack, rehab, now you can't work. You get just a whole slew of things. And then if you end up diabetic, you might end up impotent. All right, praise Jesus. Let's move on.
Or amputated.
Amputated.
Right.
Come on.
Man, over $1.25. Like, I mean, but a lot of people, again, that's mindset. A lot of people say, I don't have the money to go shop in Whole Foods. Yes, you do. Yeah. You'll be surprised. You absolutely will be surprised. Cook me a $1.25 hamburger that's actually healthy. Take it. I need that. Absolutely. I would rather 8 ounces of lean, 90% lean bison, which is ground beef. I would definitely have that for $2.50 in an 8-ounce bison hamburger in any restaurant is going to be $15. It costs me $2.50 to buy it. $2.50, $3 max. You could put talking about your lettuce, your tomatoes, your pickles, and things of that nature. $3 versus $15. Yeah, but you're telling me it's too much. Again, it's a mindset, and you're afraid. You've been told that it's too expensive to go in Whole Foods. You just see the prices and you don't realize how much you're saving because you're eating out all the time. You go to Chick-fil-A, you're going to spend at least $8 to $10. Easy, every rip.
So you're a big proponent on food prep.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because it saves time as well.
And money.
And money,
yeah. But the food prep is you really, really want to make sure that you have your food ready with you because when you're hungry and your food is not ready, a lot of people are not strong enough to not nibble on something else. So you need your food to be ready, and then you get to a point where, again, some people I got my food, but it's not hot. So I didn't eat it because I didn't have something to warm it up.
Yeah.
Versus I'll eat it flat out cold. Because my body's not interested in the temperature of the food. My body is interested in the nutrients in the food.
That's good.
My body is not concerned about temperature. My body is not concerned about taste. My body is not taking in consideration any type of flavoring. All it wants are the nutrients in the food so that it can take and disperse and do what it needs to do. It's either going to build, it's either going to tear down, or it's going to sustain.
There's a question here, and maybe we can save it for next week. We may touch on it, but the question was, does testosterone play a big role when you are getting older and you're working hard in the gym, but you don't see the muscle building. And I guess they said I've read that somewhere. Could you explain?
Great question, and this is the last question. I want to be true and let you all go.
Yeah.
Um, I would encourage all men, once you get to the age of 30, to start getting your testosterone levels checked. Because at some point, our natural hormone levels in testosterone begin to decrease. The older you get, the older men get, and watch this, the older men get, our natural testosterone levels go down, and our estrogen levels go up. That's why a man over 30 and they gain weight, they'll begin to form breasts. You know, even young boys nowadays, if they're overweight enough, then that is a sign that they have high elevated estrogen levels because they've begun to form breasts, what we call gynecomastia. But gyno, Gyno for short, if you wanted to Google that. This is where a man has formed literally breasts, all right? Most men who are overweight, they don't have pecs. Well, they do have muscle, but it's so far up under there, and they begin to develop breasts. Whereas women are the total opposite. If you notice an old woman, she got a beard. Old women have hairy faces. That's because their estrogen levels go down, but their testosterone levels increase. So as a woman gets older, she reverts back to where she came from, man. That's why she's called woman. She has testosterone in her body. Her testosterone levels raise, her estrogen levels decrease, all right? So I'm advising all men over the age of 30, go to your primary care physician and tell them you want to get your testosterone, your free testosterone levels checked. Because if they're too low, that's just like some women who have iron deficiencies, or you have vitamin B deficiencies or vitamin D deficiencies. Yes, if your body is low on testosterone, you can have low libido, low energy, all of that. So I would definitely consider, if your doctor is saying that, you should consider external testosterone therapy or testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, and they do this all around the city. You ever seen these commercials, the shot nurse? That's what they do. They give testosterone shots, legal steroid shots. Testosterone and steroids are one and the same. Anabolics. They give those shots from a doctor that is prescribed, so it's nothing illegal about it. And then that is how you can raise your testosterone levels, and it can actually help you, especially in those areas of energy, libido, the whole 9 yards.
All right. So, guys, I was just looking here to see if there are any other questions. I'll tell you what, I think there were more questions, man, but we're grateful for y'all to watch tonight, man, to join us tonight. We're going to stop tonight. But if you got more questions, it'd be amazing if you would just drop them in these last few minutes, because what we'll do is go back through these, and we'll start with those next week.
I see some of my comments. That crock pot, not the crock pot, but we're talking about the air fryer and the Instapot. That's what people are using nowadays. And also spray butter. You can use, on some of your foods, use I can't believe it's not butter spray. I don't have a problem personally. Now, some trainers may have a problem, but I don't have a problem with people using that. Don't drown it. Again, and you want to get the spray versus you don't want to get the stick of butter. They do have a stick of, I can't believe it's not butter, the solid, but the spray is definitely something that you can use. And I use it personally, especially like on my sweet potatoes. When I bake my sweet potatoes, I put some spray on it, just lightly, and put some cinnamon on it, and then I'm good to go. So those are some good things to do.
All right, amazing. Again, guys, man, thank y'all so much tonight for joining us. We're going to definitely delve into next week a little bit more of the different diets, fad diets. I think somebody wanted to know about how many reps you should be doing. I saw a question about that. So if we can get that down, how many reps you should do, how often should you work out? I did have a question, just a personal question, just because you mentioned it. We said starting at the age of 30. So, for instance, if you get a colonoscopy, we say 40, and we say every 5 years or 10 years. how often would you suggest, because some brothers out there 30, how often should they get their testosterone checked?
I would suggest you. I would suggest you go at least once a year.
Okay.
And you can even do. You can do every 6 months. You really, really just want to make sure your levels, because even still, the body will begin to get used to if you're taking 100 ml of something like a testosterone propionate. If you're taking that, which is it actually the half life is very, very fast. All right, so it doesn't stay in your system long. So there are different types of anabolics. Anabolics are another word for testosterone, free, another word for synthetic testosterone, and another word for steroid. But we're talking about legally attaining them through your primary care physician, through somebody like the shot nurse or something to that effect. Also, let me go ahead and just say this. These vitamins, there are vitamins that you need to be taking, and we're going to talk about this next week in very, very big depth. Coronavirus, immune system. I would suggest that you all call your primary care physician or schedule to get checked with them. I'm suggesting that everyone take vitamin C, vitamin D like David, vitamin A like Andre, B complex, and zinc. Those are the vitamins that I personally take. I'm not telling you to take them. Please hear that disclaimer right now. I did not just tell you to take them. I'm telling you to go to your primary care physician and ask them, can you take those vitamins? Do they think that those vitamins would benefit you? And if so, how much should you take? Once you go to your primary care physician and they've instructed you on how much that they feel like you should take, then you can come and inbox me, and then we can speak if that's something that could be more, could be less, because there are low ends of the spectrum and there are high end on the spectrum. So I personally take, at least 6,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. Whereas some people only take 1,000. Some people only take 500. I know some people who take 10,000. But again, you got to do something that you have to be comfortable, and you need to be clear with your physician to make sure. You don't want to take 10,000 of something and it does your body harm and causes you some side effect like, nausea or things of that nature. So take that list of vitamins to your doctor, your primary care physician, and ask them, I'm looking to take these exogenous vitamins. How much should I take? Do you think that these are some vitamins that will do me well concerning my immune system? Do your research. All of those are tied together with immune system, all right, and strengthening the immune system, all right?
Perfect. And I'd say if anybody was just constipated, suffer with not having regular bowel movements, 2,000 of vitamin C with every meal will keep you regular. It's a pretty good detox as well. So would you just repeat those vitamins one more time so we can get them in the chat? If you run those again. And I'd say if you start to feel bad, you don't have to, check your primary care with this. I would add echinacea as well as elderberry, and I would do the elderberry syrup, and I would do 3 or 4 echinaceas every couple of hours. So if you start to feel kind of sick, feeling kind of feverish or whatever, in addition to those same vitamins, I would add echinacea, and I would definitely add elderberry to that regimen. Excellent. Until you felt better. Yeah.
Very good. And so along with the echinacea and the elderberry, vitamin C, we're talking about also vitamin D like David, vitamin A like Andre, B complex, and zinc. And ask your primary care physician who knows more about your health history, what would be some credible dosages that you can take with those, and then we can do a dialogue from there as to what window you could have. All right.
All right. Perfect. All right, guys, one more time tonight, man. We're grateful for you to join us, man. If you would just drop some comments in the comment section. If this was helpful tonight, if Chris, man, literally gave you some nuggets to help you on your health journey, if this blessed you or helped you, just drop it in there. Thank him. He's not charging us anything. He did this literally just to say, man. And we talked a little bit after last week, and he was like, "Yo, I just get joy out of helping people achieve their goals." So, man, yeah. Will you just share with them? And I know you didn't ask it, but I'm just asking, how do they follow you? How they follow you? Maybe there's some workouts you do. Maybe there's some things you do outside of this that they can. And if they want a personal training,
You can inbox me on Facebook. You search for Andre Christopher Morris. I may have 5,000 friends, so I can't add any friends after that. But you can still follow my page. If you select add as friend and it says I have too many friends, it would immediately allow you to follow me because my page is open. On Instagram, my username is A Chris Morris, all together, ACHRIS. M as in Matthew, ORRIS. A Chris Morris. All right. You can follow me there. You can DM me there. You can hit me on Facebook under my page. But that's something that I consulted God about, and when I was talking about getting the name of my business, and Good. It was confirmed. Good. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. And that scripture comes from 3 John, 1st chapter, 2nd verse. Beloved, I wish above all things, and I said this last week, Bishop G. Patterson would preach, all means includes everything and excludes nothing. So out of all of the things that is left in the word that he could wish, he said, I wished above all things that you prosper financially, holistically, and be in health, even as your soul prospers. And so I am really, really on a mission to help people get in better shape. Look, stop wallowing in your mess. Stop. And a lot of you just are used to being miserable. You're comfortable being miserable. In order to achieve something that you've never achieved, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Good. In order to achieve, especially in this area, something like this, whether it is creating your own business, anytime you're trying to achieve a major goal, you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to go against the grain. You got to take your food to parties, and people are not going to understand. People are going to ask you, what you doing that? It don't take all that. And they're going to do that. They're going to say that. And you just don't even get into it with them. You just sit there and let them eat their food. You eat your food, this, that, and other. Before you know it, you'll be coming in another party. You'll be 10, 15 pounds lighter. They'll be like, hey, man, what were you doing? Tell me what you're doing. They said it didn't take all that. Now they want to know what it took. So, that's what I want you to understand. Anybody can do this. You can do this. You just got to get tired of being sick and tired, and you got to make the turn, and you got to make the turn for a lifestyle, a lifetime. A lot of people don't realize that a lifestyle means something you're doing for the rest of your life. That is what you do as life. That's what you know as life. I know cardio as life. When I leave here, I'm going to do cardio because I have goals, and I know that if I don't do the cardio, I won't reap the reward. I just know this. So why would I not do it if I know I want to reach this particular goal? Again, how many hours in a day? 24. If I did the cardio at 2 in the morning, I got it done. If I did it at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, I got it done. If I did it at my lunch break at 12, I got it done. I have 24 hours to reach a certain amount of goals, and it turns over every day. The slate is clean every day. Just because you ate great yesterday is cool, but stop talking about I ate great yesterday while I see nachos on your plate for today. All right?
All right, guys. Man, y'all have an amazing night. We didn't do this last week, but let me just pray for you, and then we're getting out. All right? Father, we thank you tonight. We praise you for all that you're doing in this season of our lives, God. Some, like he said, are ready to make a new start. I think in order even to be great at our businesses, great at our skill set, we need to have the energy and the health to do that. And again, if we're going to bless our next, we have to start acting like it now. And so, Father, give us the will, give us the skill, give us the knowledge. Help us to take what we learned tonight and literally build on it. Let this be a foundation that will bless us for the rest of this year. 2020 is still the year of vision. You're still going to give us a decade of clarity. So thank you tonight for sharing with us. Thank you for the knowledge that Chris poured out. Pour back into him. In Jesus' name, we praise you. Thank you for all that are watching, all that will share this information. Bless them in every area of their lives, spiritually, financially, emotionally, domestically, and physically. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And thank God. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for joining us on tonight.
Push a little harder. You're almost at the end. It's all what we work.